Hello, everybody. Welcome to One Day Today. This is episode 2. We're excited about the guests we have today. This is just getting started. We've had, I think, almost 40 people already submit to be on the stage, and I'm really excited to give everyone an opportunity to share who they are in this new era that we're experiencing of the world. Just wanted to first take a chance. If you guys are all new to One Day, my name's Abram Siegel Rivers, and I also wanted to introduce my co-host, Matthew.
Hey everybody, I'm Matthew. If you saw the first episode, you saw me briefly on there, and I'll be here from here on out helping out Abram. And I just like to say, really, first of all, thank you, Abram, for setting all this up. It's been absolutely wonderful. And I was wondering if you'd like to share a little bit about your inspiration for creating this and where it came from.
Absolutely. This is something that came out of kind of especially seeing this new experience of the world. As a lot of us are forced to be physically separate and, forced to be at home, I've really observed we are all starting to really value what's important, connection, community, just being connected, just truly connected, with our community and people we love and people in our lives. And I really feel this is an opportunity for us to share ourselves, because it's easy with all the noise, media, and all these different conversations of fear and sorrow. And while there is suffering in the world, there's also a lot of beautiful things happening and beautiful people who are up to big things despite this craziness. And that's what we're doing here. Is I want to give a space to people who are committed to something bigger than themselves and are, and want to share and benefit and contribute to us all.
Absolutely.
And that's really what this started with.
So who do we have up first?
First we have sharing is Tim Ringgold. And Tim is I'll let him speak for himself, but Tim, the stage is yours.
Hey, thanks, Abram, and thanks, Matthew, for having me and letting me share on this awesome platform that you've created. And just kudos to everything that it takes behind the scenes to make what's happening live right now seem effortless. So kudos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what do you have for us today?
So for me, my name's Tim Ringgold, and I'm a board certified music therapist. And what I want to tell you about today is a couple of ways that you can reach for music to relieve stress fast. And I'm going to take you back in time to start this all out. So it's April 18th, but not 2020. It's April 18th, 1995. And while I am jumping up and down at a rock concert, shouting, singing, feeling the energy, bouncing with the people around me, feeling that connection, that oneness that you feel when you're at a concert, that kind of collective energy the band's putting out and you're putting out and everybody's in it together. It's April 18th and I'm in this amazing experience. And while I'm having this exact same experience, at the same time, my 5 best friends were just murdered. I go to 5 funerals in 4 days. It was like Groundhog's Day from hell. I would just wake up and bury another friend, and then wake up and bury another friend. And on Sunday, 2. And at each one of my friends' funerals, I sang a song that I had written just for them as my way of saying goodbye. My community embraces me for, how healing and comforting the song is for them, but it tears me up to sing it. But the night of the last funeral, I went out for some more live music and I went to another concert. And for the first 2 hours since I got the news, I find peace. And no amount of drugs, alcohol, or cable TV had numbed the pain all week. And I had tried all 3 and stacked them. None of it worked. But the music did. The music did. And since that moment in 1995, I've dedicated my life to helping others reach for music in their toughest times. And today, my company provides over 200 hours a month of music therapy to children, adolescents, adults, and the elderly, while I travel the country teaching organizations and individuals how to reach for music to relieve stress fast so that they can get back to doing their best work. At least I was traveling the country up until a month ago. Now I just travel down into my garage where I am now and hop on Zoom. And, everybody knows that music it's good for their mood. And everybody knows, right? Everybody knows music's good for their spirit. But really what I'm here to tell you today is how good music is for your brain and your body. See, whether you're struggling with trauma like I went through, or you're just struggling with the stress that everybody's under right now, there's just a collective higher baseline of stress for everybody, right? Listen, everybody reaches for something when they get stressed. It's by design. Our brains are designed to crave when we get stressed. And for some, it's beer, it's wine, or it's worse, but it may just be your phone or your fridge or the Netflix button on your remote control. It's the most important thing to remember from this is that it's a normal reaction to stress to reach for something to comfort ourselves. And when we were kids, we reached for our thumb, or we reached for a binky, or we reached for a blankie, or we reached for our teddy, right? It's designed. Our brain looks to self-soothe in times of crisis. And as we grow and we kind of reach out into our environment and look for things that will comfort us. So we are always in the game of self-soothe. And so we discover different things work better than others. For one person, it's watching sports. For another person, it's playing sports. For yet another person, it's working. And yet someone else, it may be their pantry and eating. Someone else, it may be gambling. Someone else, it may be smoking. And we never really know what that trigger, or not trigger, but what that fix is going to be. But everybody's got one. And there are some that kind of lead the pack. And it's true. Sugar, caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, some pretty addictive substances out there, but there's a lot of really addictive behaviors as well. And the one in the 21st century that's the biggest, this thing, right? Screens are designed. They're like slot machines. They're designed to instantly distract us, instantly comfort us, instantly intrigue us. They're these little dopamine delivery devices. And, when used correctly, they can be amazing tools. But most of us, I'd venture to say, definitely myself included, kind of misuse it. And just after a while, if I'm bored or I'm frustrated or I'm lonely or I'm feeling disconnected, where does my thumb go? Whoosh, instant. Whoosh, 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 starts to go to work on my phone. And maybe you find this to be true for you. So the reality is we live in a culture where everybody's reaching for something when we get stressed, and we're under more stress than ever. This was really brought home to me 2 days ago. I'm at Target picking up some essentials. And in Target, like, I'm not sure what it's like at your Target, but at my Target, they've got all the rows of checkouts, but then they've got like 2 rows of rows, maybe 2 columns. They've got rows and columns of checkout. It's like this huge grid, right? So I go up to pay my stuff and I turn, and over here is the end cap for the next checkout. And instead of like candy and like trashy gossip magazines that are usually there, it's Sky vodka and it's Cuervo tequila, a whole end cap full of booze. Now, where I grew up, in the state I grew up in, liquor was only sold in like specific liquor stores. You couldn't buy it at a grocery store. Definitely not where you could buy kids' clothes and a bicycle in the same place. So I look, and here's all this booze, like right here. And I'm like, whoa. And I say to the guy, that I tell him the story. And the checkout clerk says to me, the only thing we've sold more than toilet paper of is alcohol. I wasn't surprised, but I was definitely worried. Because if anybody already was struggling with any kind of behavior that was unhealthy for them before this, all this crisis did is turn the volume up on that a lot. And so what I want to show you today is why music and how music is a really effective tool for relieving stress fast, so that you, whether you're a musician or a music lover, you can reach for music instead of harmful substances or digital distractions. All right. So talking about the brain and the body, right? Not just mood and spirit, but brain and body. When you reach for music, your brain sets off like pleasure chemicals, same pleasure chemicals as when you eat chocolate and have sex, same dopamine release. So when you reach for music, it helps you focus better. It helps you feel good in the moment. It also helps you feel connected to something outside of yourself. That's super important these days because we're definitely feeling some disconnection because of all this social distancing. So it allows you the immediate sensation of feeling connected to something. And when you reach for music, your brain actually shifts gears and it shifts out of reactivity mode, which is the stress response. It's reaction mode. And you shift out of reactivity mode and into creativity mode. So that's the gear your brain needs to be in right now. That's immediately relevant for us because we're having to solve like new problems on a daily basis. I've got 2 kids homeschooling now while my wife and I work from home. So we're problem solving on a daily basis, how to support our kids. Yours might be a different story. How are you having to pivot and struggle and problem solve given the lockdown or the shelter in place or even just social distancing? Like you may have had a new strategy or had to come up with something new, a new way to keep things moving for you and your own house. So music allows us, when we listen to it, changes the gear that our brain is in and it engages the creative mode of our brain. So that's really helpful. The third thing that it does is it actually stops the production of cortisol. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone that your body produces when you're trying to outrun tigers. We've got that covered in the 21st century, but what are the stressors of the 21st century? Like, what are the 21st century tigers? Well, obviously the outbreak, this COVID-19 crisis, that's the major one. But for some of us, we were like up to here before this outbreak, right? We were already in an epidemic of overdoses and suicide in this country. Our mortality rate in the United States, our life expectancy has already gone down for the last 3 years prior to this outbreak. So as a nation and as a culture, as a society, as a community, we were already struggling, really struggling with some real issues in our lives. Okay. So cortisol building up in our body on a regular basis, what it actually does is it wears out your immune system. It's not designed to be in your system 24/7. Having a weakened immune system is the last thing you want right now. So when you listen to the music you enjoy or you make music, your body stops producing this chemical. That's really healthy for your body right now. And that's what we want to focus on, or what are things that can really give us our immune system a boost, since there's no treatment and there's no cure, right, for COVID-19. And when you reach for music, it does just that. And when you sing or you make music, your immune system actually doubles in production. So super helpful. So let me show you 3 quick ways that you can reach for music to relieve stress fast. First, you can make it. So if you can tap, snap, clap, hum, rap, sing, strum, shake, scratch, you can reach for music because everybody scratches in perfect rhythm. Yeah. You can also so the first one is make it. The second one is just listen to it. So create for yourself a power playlist. That's 3 songs that fire you up, put them on a playlist. And when you feel stressed, put in your earbuds, get up and go for a walk. By the time you come back from that short 3-song playlist, your nervous system will have reset. You'll be back at your best. And the third one is you can relax to it. And as a board certified music therapist, I've led thousands of patients and clients through my own custom musical relaxation experience. And I'm going to give it to you for free. So you're just going to head over to sonicrecovery.com and just put in your name and your email address, and I will give you my relaxation vacation, no travel required. Right? Because when used correctly, music turns off the stress response faster than any oral medication. And I'll leave you with this. All right. Listen, I can't go back in time and bring my 3 friends back, or my 3 friends back, my 5 friends back. 3 of them lived in the house. 5 of them were there the night they died. I can't go back in time and bring them back, but you can go forward and reach for music instead of digital distractions or harmful substances. You can reach for music and relieve stress anytime, anywhere. You can reach for music and feel better fast. You can reach for music. And here's how we're going to reach for a little music together right now. So just kind of pop along with me. You can sing, tap, snap, clap, whatever you want to do. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Reach for music, y'all. Thank you.
That was awesome. That was really awesome, Tim.
Thank you.
You for sharing that. And, I've always appreciated music. I've had a music career for almost 15 years. And, it's something about music, it can scratch that itch that nothing else can, like there's something that it brings out, like a chord can make emotion, can like bring out the tension from emotions we didn't even know we're experiencing. And that's what's so amazing about music. And it's inspiring your story of how you found empowerment, and especially with going through such a tragedy with losing your friends. And music is such a powerful medium, and like there's no language to it. We all can feel and experience that, and that's so beautiful. So I appreciate your sharing, and that was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I wonder if you wouldn't mind just taking a minute or two and going back. I can't imagine how difficult it would have been that week, just having to say goodbye to 5 friends in a row. What was it about that concert? Like when you were there, what was it that resonated so strongly that brought you back to yourself and brought you out of that grief to just be that calm, centered place again?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. I forgot about the pain. I forgot about everything else that was going on in my life beyond what was happening right in front of me from the stage. And what I've learned later on as a music therapist is that music is really, it's heavy lifting for our brains. It's really complex to like keep up with it, figure it out, move to it. It's the most complex stimulus in nature, and it actually requires every subregion of the brain to be working at the same time in order for us to process music. I had no idea any of that at the time, but what I noticed at the time was everything else just went away. Mm-hmm. And what I've learned now in hindsight as a clinician is when you're in front of music and you're in music, when you're in the music, when your brain is on music, it can't process other signals at the same time, at the same volume. And so my work, my TED Talk is on my work that I did with cancer patients. And one of the biggest things I would hear from cancer patients when I would play with them and make music with them is they would say, I forgot about the pain. Mm. I thought that's an interesting phrase because it doesn't mean it went away. It just means they weren't present to it in that moment. And music allows us to step aside from whatever we're in the moment and take a break, and in a healthy way. And I think it's one of the few things that really allows us to do that so powerfully.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That bringing it's almost like a little hack, isn't it? Like just bringing us back to that present moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can use it in either way. We can either use the music to take a break from the present moment. So the gift I gave everybody, the relaxation experience, I actually walk you through a memory of yours where you were happy, healthy, safe, connected. And so, because sometimes the stress is in the present moment, like right now with the crisis, the stress is right here and now. So we need to take a little break. And then sometimes the music, we're worried about the future, or we're bummed out about the past, and we need something that pulls us out of our head right back into the present moment. And the music can do that. So it can kind of play either side of the coin. Whatever we need it to do for us, it can when used correctly.
Cool. I'd love to continue this conversation more, but we've got a few more guests to get on.
You bet.
And I believe, Abram, you wanted to share something really quick too. So Tim, again, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Tim. That was an awesome share. Thank you. I just wanted to show everybody real quick, if anyone else is interested in being a part of this movement, if you'd like to share on the stage, if you'd like to volunteer with the back end, getting involved, or make a contribution, I'm going to just show you real quick. There's a website here, right up here. And so all you got to do is go to onedaymvmt.org. Here's our beautiful, shiny new website. And you're just going to click this Get Involved button. And from there, you're going to have an option to go to virtual stage. And it's that easy. This is a little information about what you'll get and what you're signing up for. You click Count Me In, and you're going to fill out a basic form, and we'll get back to you. But it's real easy, and there's plenty of ways to do it. But I just wanted to let any of you are curious, I really encourage you to share. It feels great. It might be scary at first, but it really benefits a lot of people when we can really share ourselves. All right. So up next, we're gonna have Christy share. Christy. All right. There she is.
Hello.
Hi, Christy.
How are you guys?
Hi. Doing fantastic. Thank you for joining us. I just want to give you the space just to share now. You ready?
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Christy. Have fun.
The stage is yours, Christy.
Thanks so much. You guys are great. And this is really an awesome time for everybody to share their experience, strength, and hope, really. Thank you, Tim. That was very powerful, talking about the music. And I've really seen that in my life, too. Now that you're talking about that, how that's an amazing escape to kind of bring you back to sanity. I just kind of want to start out with a little story before I get into what I'm going to talk about. But little story. There was a man. He was stranded on a desert island, and for days he was out there at the ocean looking for help and looking for boats and praying and please God help me. And just days and days went by and nothing. So he decided, okay, I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to build myself a little hut. I'm going to try to get comfortable, and I'll just live my life here. And so it took him quite a while to get that hut built, and he finally got it to where he was halfway comfortable. And one day he goes out to collect berries, and on his way back to the hut, he sees that it's caught on fire. So now he's in total despair. And he goes down to the ocean, and he decides that he's going to throw himself in and kill himself, end it all. And as he got closer and closer to the water, he looked out and he noticed that there was a boat coming. And once he's rescued and he's on the boat and he's so relieved, and he said, after all this time, how did you find me? And they said, well, we saw the smoke from your fire. And that kind of happened to me. I had a big fire. Actually, it was a flood. But in 2014, my life was changed forever. It was September. My business partner and I had owned a restaurant for over 20 years. And at that point, you really kind of figure that's what it is. You're doing it. You've been doing it. It's worked out well. Just keep doing it. And we had kind of wanted to move on and do some other things, but it's never really, why walk away from the money if you don't have to. It was kind of funny because for months before this event happened, I had kind of had this burning or kind of a yearning in my heart to do something different. So for what we would do is every year we would close for 2 months, and we not only had the restaurant, but we also have a seasoned olive oil company that was created from my business partner's family recipes. And so we would close for 2 months and go up north to Michigan, Ohio, and we'd travel for the summer and do live events. And we got back after being gone for 2 months, and our restaurant had been completely destroyed. And when I say completely destroyed, I mean completely destroyed. And so now suddenly we went from 7 days of work to 2 days of work. Literally overnight, we had zero income from the restaurant. We still had all the outgoing. We still had the mortgage, the insurance, and everything was still coming in, but there was no money coming in. And it took many, many months, even actually a couple of years, to finally get everything taken care of. And they, a long story short, our insurance company refused to rebuild. So here we are. We literally overnight went from the 7 days of work to 2 days of work. We have to jump in. And now these olive oil company that we had really used just as kind of a part-time income that was kind of extra, now had to be our 100% company. And talk about the fear, talk about a leap of faith, and talk about the horror of it all. It was very scary. And every day I would wake up dreading the day. And I would want to just curl up on the couch in the fetal position and just make the day go away. And eventually, as time went on and the horror was just there all the time, you couldn't get away from it, I started having to try to figure out how to cope. I started having to figure out how, okay, we're going to have to go through this. And like my dad would always say, you're going to have to go through it anyway. You might as well enjoy yourself. There's no big deals in life. Just keep moving forward. And that's really how it ended up working out, is every day I would take it one day at a time. And it's great that you guys, one day is today. It's so awesome, because it really got down to creating a system for myself to be able to survive and then eventually thrive and grow. But it was a lot of trust, a lot of faith, a lot of, if you're listening and you're in business, typically you have projections, you have data, you know how much money you're going to spend that month and how much money is going to come in. And when suddenly you go from everything still being spent but nothing coming in, it really messes up with the traditional way of running a business. We literally had to go by faith. And I just remember thinking one day, okay, God, well, I guess we're just going to have to trust you. And as soon as that came out of my mouth, I thought that's the funniest thing ever. If you're just going to have to trust somebody, might as well be God, because he's pretty much got it going on. And so I started having something I called Coffee with Jesus. And every morning, it originally started off as Coffee with Jesus. Please help. It was kind of a desperation of horror. And I would just crawl out of bed every morning and clinging to God and saying, I don't know how you're going to work this out, because there is no way in the world this is just not possible. And every day miracles would happen. And every day I started looking for miracles. And I think that was a huge shift in being able to not only go through something horrifically traumatizing, but to actually grow through it and find meaning. And that was so important, is that I was able to find meaning in the tragedy. And eventually we started calling it the miracle, because it was that every single day was a miracle. And so I would play this game with God, and I would say, okay, God, show me today something that I'll know that you're hearing me, that I'll know that you're exactly aware of what's happening and that you've got a plan. And it says in the Bible, nothing will be wasted from your past, and that God will give you beauty for ashes. And those are actually two different scriptures, but it worked good when I combined them. And so I started looking for miracles. And so I would just do little things. At first, I'd say, okay, God, show me a cardinal. And, it wouldn't be too long before there'd be a cardinal. And I'd say, okay, God, show me a yellow car. And there's the yellow car, not too long. And sorry. And then I started going, well, when your mind will kind of try to kick in and tell you, oh, well, that was going to go by anyway, or, oh, well, that would have happened. So I started making them harder. And so like, I really want you to knock yourself out, God, really, show me that you hear me. So I started asking for harder things. So instead of asking for a butterfly, I'll never forget this. We were in Michigan because once we lost the restaurant, my business partner and I had to go on the road full time doing live events, selling our seasoned olive oils. And so I'll never forget, we were in Michigan, way out in the middle of nowhere, and we were going into the store to get coffee at Starbucks. And so I had told her that morning, I said, we're going to see pink butterflies. And Miriam was always very good about this. She would go, oh, okay. Yep. She didn't tell me she was thinking, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Pink butterflies? Come on. A regular butterfly? Yes. Pink, please. She was like, okay, but what on the outside is what matters. She just agreed. So we get to the grocery store. We walk in. We're looking for the Starbucks. And I just froze in my tracks. And I'm just staring. And she was finally noticed that I wasn't going over to the coffee. And she looks and she's like, what are you doing? And we both look up. And there in front of us was this enormous pink butterfly balloon. It was just floating. It had kind of broken away from the other balloons. And it was just there right in front of me, this amazing pink butterfly balloon. Humongous. And as I'm standing there going, oh my gosh, thank you, God. You're so amazing. You rock. You're the bomb. God's bomb. And I'm like having this little happy dance for because God rocks kind of moment of like, you hear me and you're going to make everything okay. As I was standing there looking at that pink balloon of a butterfly, I looked a little bit past it and there was this white tree that they had made up in the floral department. This big tree. And as I'm looking at this big tree, I look up at the top and it's all over the top. There's probably 40 or 50 pink butterflies that they had pinned to the limbs of the tree. And it was just like, oh, you go, God. You are, oh my goodness, you are so good at this. And it was just like an amazing conversation. It was literally like my friend showing me something that, he had given me as a gift for that day. And it really became that of just looking for miracles and trusting to know that, once you finally get to that point where you've done everything that you possibly can, there's nothing else to do but have faith. And that's really where I see right now is where a lot of people are with the COVID-19 is that, their huts are on fire. Maybe people have not gone through something so horrifying as losing a business and all their income before. Maybe this is their first time of having a massive breakdown in their money or in their family or in their life. And it's so important that we all have compassion for each other because for me, it's definitely a hard situation. We made all of our income, from the internet as well, but, we did shows every week that we travel around the country. So, all of our shows have been canceled, but it's the most amazing thing because I remember the first time, the first miracle when the restaurant was destroyed. I couldn't wait until the day ended because I had to go to bed because I had to get away from it all. And it's funny, Tim, you said music because I would just plug in some music and just escape and just say, oh, thank God, it's time to go to bed. And it was funny because I would go to bed earlier and earlier. If it just looked a little bit dark, I was like, oh, bedtime. And to get myself out of misery. But now it's the most amazing thing because every morning I wake up and I'm like, oh, God, okay, God, what are you going to do today? This is going to be awesome. And he's been so faithful. And it has been such a beautiful experience. It's been scary because, I want everybody to be safe. And, it's very hard for people that have been sick. And I have had a very good friend who got sick but recovered, thank God. But I think this is really the most beautiful time that we can have right now is for us to take that time to not just go through it, but grow through it. Take that time to step back from the horror, step back from the fear, and step back from trying to figure it all out and just listen. Just step back and find your time that you can have a few minutes to have some downtime. I go out in the backyard and I still have coffee with Jesus every morning. I think he's drinking coffee. It's probably cafe con leche because that is the nectar of the gods. But every morning I'm out there with my cup of coffee, and now it's like, hey, let's have coffee. What are we going to do today? And it's an excitement and a trust. And so I would just really encourage everybody that if you've not been through something as traumatic as what you're going through right now, just take a minute to look back over your life and see the times when everything has worked out, when you felt that there was no way that it would work out, and just kind of let that be your touchstone to say, hey, everything is always working out for me, and it's all going to be all right. And really just take some time to do that soothing, and to know that you don't have to figure it out all at once, that you can just look at today, just one day, and just know that, when you do make a leap of faith, at some point, both feet will always have to be off the ground. And it is going to be a little bit scary, but everything will work out in the end. And I just want to encourage you to have compassion, not only for others, but for yourself as well. And remember to look for your miracle also. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and share some of my experience, strength, and hope. And I just pray that everyone will all come out of this stronger and more positive, and really with newfound love for life and all of its adventures that it'll bring. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your
guys.
Your faith in the face of adversity is very admirable. And that's it's when it's hard, when we're faced with the hardest situations is when we're tested. Like when our body and our senses, everything says emergency, everything's wrong, the world's ending. When we can kind of step outside of our mind's chatter, that's like scary, all these fear emotions. It's like when we can actually step outside of it, we kind of enable a space for us to see the collateral beauty. Not necessarily there might be things that are happening that are hard and difficult to grow and deal with, but there's things when we take a breath and we step outside of that fear, we can kind of have a space for something that we wouldn't even have noticed if we hadn't have just knowing is in its right place, even when it's our senses tell us otherwise.
Absolutely. It's such a beautiful time, really, when you have that reassurance inside of you that you're not in control. And this is just kind of a magnified view of it, that, we're never really in control. But this is just a perfect time for us to realize, wow, there is a greater good, there is a bigger plan. And I can just share my little view out of my window. We're all in the same house, but we all have different views out different windows. And I think that's really the beauty of us all being able to come together and encourage each other and, share a little bit of our hope and in small doses. And then we'll all be able to share it with other people too.
Absolutely. Beautiful. I wonder, going back to after your restaurant burned down, all those fears that were coming up, looking back at it now, how many of those fears were actually based on anything true?
Wow. Yeah. None of it ended up. The fear of them not rebuilding the restaurant, that's the only thing really that ended up coming true, was that they didn't rebuild and that we were left with nothing. But the most amazing thing is all the horror that I had built up in my head of, oh my God, we're going to lose the house. We're going to lose everything. We're going to lose the building. We're going to lose everything. We're going to have to file for bankruptcy. It was like all those things that grow into this bigness of it all. None of it happened, and it was just like every day there was miracles happening. And it was like our customers would come up to us at a show and they would say, you know what, God's got a bigger plan for you. And even though it looks really awful right now, we just know something really great is going to come out of this. And it was just like hearing those reassurings. It's like when you're walking through a room and it's pitch black, how reassuring it is for someone to reach out their hand and say, hey, over here, come over here. And that's really what it was like, is, people are constantly brought across our path when we're able to to look for it, look for those miracles. People have those messages for us. And it was really beautiful.
Yeah, that's been my experience as well, is as I realized that the fears are almost always, if not always, based on a lie or a false belief.
Yeah.
And I kind of look out into the world and just expect good things, or just have faith. Like you said, just have faith.
Yeah, and it's so funny because here we went from 7 days a week of income to just 2 days a week, and now it's been like, we're like, hey, this worked out good, everything's rocking and we're doing really well, the company's thriving, and then all of a sudden God's like, okay, no days of work. So we're like, all right, let's mix it up, God, let's do it. And so it's been really awesome because our customers have been just phenomenal, of just ordering online and calling us, hey, you guys okay, we miss you, come and we want to see you. And it was just like, that is so God. He'd be like, ooh, you think that's good? Let me show you what I'm going to do next, and it's just awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, any moment that like brings questioning and brings doubt is just, it's fabulous to me. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Christy, for sharing your story and just inspiring. So I really appreciate you. We got one more speaker up next. So thanks, Christy. Up next, we have the wonderful Angel, who's going to share. Real quick, I just wanted to say thank you again for everyone watching. If you guys are all, interested in joining this movement, we encourage you to check out our website. It's onedaymvmt.org. But yeah, none of this was possible without you guys. We can use your sharing and participating on the stage, just like Angel's about to. We could use your volunteering if you want to help us produce more content to reach people, to benefit people. And if you want to donate, of course, your financial contribution goes a long way. There's some cost to this, but we're in it to win it for us all. We're here for us all, and that's our mission. Our mission is bringing you and I and communities together in joyous celebration, unifying humanity in our diversity to create a better world for us all. And that's really why we're here, and that's what this space is for. And I really appreciate you all sharing this time with us. So without further ado, I'm going to let Angel take the stage. Angel, what do you have to share with us?
Well, thank you. That joyous movement. It's so beautiful. And thank you, Tim, Christy, Abram, and Matthew. Beautiful. And having this virtual stage to share. And one of my commitments, my big commitment to the world, is to help people to discover and to choose happy every day. And it's a great mission what you're doing with this one day, because just imagine and imagine that you are that you are just energy, vibration, and frequency. You're running energy all the time. And right now in the world, we're all come together with one really common denominator. And that common denominator is that we're all emotional entities. We're all hardwired for emotions. And those emotions come from your heart. And when it comes from your heart, what happens is it makes a chemical. And that chemical creates our whole body and how we move and how we think. And also, it creates and helps us be healthy, or that immune system going down. And so everything is energy. And right now, yeah, we're in a lot of pain, maybe, or panic, grief, hopelessness, sadness, maybe even feeling helpless. And when I look at that, and yet it inspires me. I know, just keep with me for a minute. It inspires me because yet a really good friend of mine, Albert Einstein, he said something, and I quote, "Energy never dissolves. It merely changes forms." So you know what? I believe that so much that it can change the form of any kind of emotion, any kind of fear or pain. into that appreciation, into that joy, into that authentic you. And that is why I came up with the Shine On Shake. And the Shine On Shake is moving. And I'd like everybody right now, because you might be sitting there at home and you might be watching this and you might be kind of stagnant and feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm looking at what's happening. And I want you to move your body and move it. And that's the Shine On Shake. And you wonder, what is the Shine On? You know, and the Shine On is that commitment that I made to the world about you, every person discovering and choosing happy. Because way back when I not only almost died, not only once, not only twice, but 3 times. And then previously being diagnosed with lupus, fibromyalgia, arthritis, and Sjogren's. And that because of those times that I almost died, because of the stress of relationships, career, because of the world out there in society, and being in chronic pain all the time. But you know what? I came back because I never gave up. And you know what I did? I took action. And when I took action, the 3rd time that I went to that doctor and they said, you're about ready to have a heart attack. What are you doing? And I said, I own a wellness center where I help people step into their self-development, their self-care, and understand how they can heal themselves from the inside out, how they can shine from the inside out. That's where that shine came from. And he looked at me, that doctor, and he said, if you don't get out of that center, if you don't get out of there, you're going to die. And he looked at me, and I couldn't believe a doctor said that, but that was way back. And I looked at him, and I walked out of that office in a daze. And that daze took me to my car. I sat in my car, couldn't even call anyone. I was in such a distress, couldn't even cry. I was numb because this was the 3rd time. And I sat there and I thought, what is happening? How do I step into something more than just a prescription drug? How do I step into who I really am and the power that I have? And I remembered Einstein. I said, you know what? So I took my power back and I started to study the power of food. This is the power of energy. And most of all, the power of mindset. And when I combined all 3 of them, my health improved. And so even today, everything looks beautiful because I choose it to be. And it's incredibly, and I have incredible blessed with high energy. All my relationships, the clarity, the joy. But you know, when I really remembered what Einstein said, I can look at the chronic pain. I can look at the world that we live in now and step into realizing that you can change this vibrational frequency. It's a current. We are all currents. If I could plug you in, you could light up the whole room, the whole house, the whole neighborhood. That's proven. This is quantum physics. So I really want you I encourage you to look at your life right now. And maybe you're seeing that you're looking at your checkbook and you're looking at your refrigerator and there's that, you start to come back to, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But I want you to step into that trust, the trust that you have of life. That when you look at all the power that you do really have and step into that you can change the energy of anything around you. Because we all know like becomes like, and then what you think about, you bring about. So where are you thinking? Let's shift that form. Remember, energy never dissolves, merely changes forms. I'm asking you, I'm inviting you to change the form. And as a certified Reiki master, I am genius at helping you to look at life in a different way, to perceive it differently. And I am so excited to be able to be on this adventure right now. And you say, oh my gosh, Angel, there's so many people that are dying. There's people that are sick. There's people all over the world. But think about how we've come together also. And that we can change this form when we understand that We're not looking at you as this person in India or the person in Hawaii or the male or the female. We're looking at this human being now that wants to be just like happy, that wants joy, that wants to look at each other with love and look in the mirror with love. So I really invite you to take some time to be online. Yes, and there's so many wonderful things like this today, the one day. And then also there's meditations, there's yoga, there's Tai Chi. I offer Tai Chi every day to be able to help you to breathe in this energy. And I am so blessed to be able to share the Shine On movement. And that movement is a movement to help you raise your vibration in such a positive way that it radiates out and impacts the world. And this is what we're talking about with Einstein. It's proven scientifically that you're already doing it. So when you're conscious in stepping into that energy. Now I'm gonna give you a couple things that might be helpful, because you're sitting there saying, okay, this is 4 weeks in, 33 days, 34 days into this, and this isn't working. So I don't want you to feel alone, because there's no aloneness. We're here for you. There's so many things and people and organizations and movements that have started since this to help. I really want you to reach out. But one of the things I want to offer to you is this meditation that I've done. It's 7 minutes and it's about releasing fears. So just message me and I will send it to you, because that will help to just release that. And you know, being in a place for over 30 years, working with energy, and then also with immune system diseases. I don't want to own them, but yet that I have to look at in a day-to-day. I want to help you to be able to step through those fears and be able to release. So one of the biggest things is as soon as you get up in the morning, do you have a morning routine? Please get a real morning routine. If that's just, and a lot of us, we're like, whoa, with the morning, our routines, because now we're at home. We're not going to work. We're not on the hamster wheel. So I really encourage you and invite you to, when you get up in the morning, to drink 10 to 15 ounces of water, warm with a lemon, and it will help you move. And to move your stuff, it will help you. The next one is I want you to do a breathing, a belly breathing, this belly breathing, where you, and look it up, diaphragmatic breathing, and start to do that breathing where you breathe in through your nose and the belly comes out. I call it Buddha belly. And then you breathe out and the belly goes in. And I want you to do at least like 5 minutes, put a timer on. What you're doing is you're setting the tone for the day that will help you lift your energy, and you will have that positive, healthy, vibrational field, that energy around you. And what happens is it will draw people to you, but it will also draw the vibrational field of happy. What you think about, you bring about. Your brain can't do two things at once. So being in that and creating the energy of joy in your life and happy. It's so beautiful when you step into that. I am very blessed to be able to be so committed to the world, to everyone, about discovering and choosing happy, choosing your life in a different way, choosing that, and coming from a choice, not from here. And like I said, is really be from here, is being aware of what's going on. Yes, be aware, be responsible. And then take those actions. Also, it's change your mindset, energize your life, and shine on. Use that shine. And that's where that came from many years ago when I had that wellness center, metaphysical center, and I was teaching so much, because people would come in and say, I don't know, I want more. I know there's more in me. And me to be able to say, yes, shine your light. And to be able to share this on the road throughout the country and in different places, not now, but, and then here, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. You're beautiful. And with this being said is you matter. You absolutely matter because your vibrational field is going out. So we don't want you to feel alone. So raise your vibrational field. So beautiful. And I would leave you with this, is that connecting more to your breath, drinking more water will help you to feel and be able to move. And of course, there's always music. And I'm going to play just one little thing of music because I can. And this is the Shine On Movement song. And just one little phrase of it so that you get and understand. Your heart, let your spirit flow. Ask for what you want. Show them what you got. Take it to the top. Don't you ever stop. Shine, shine, shine on. And then raise your vibration. Shine, shine, shine on. Isn't that beautiful? To be able to really ask for what you want. So I thank you for this time, and I hope those help.
Thank you, Angel. I was just getting excited when you just started waving your arms. I wanted to, yeah, there she is. That's, thank you so much for sharing. You know, I know you are such a force for love, and it's I'm always encouraged just talking with you. You just, I feel like everyone got a taste when you just started shining with your, just, you have this energy that is such a uplifting. It's very uplifting, and I really appreciate you sharing your story and, you know, all the things that you faced, and, you know, and encouraging others to do the same. But yeah, this has been such an awesome, like, opportunity for just for observing and hearing and receiving the stories that you all have shared and share in this space. I'm so encouraged by the people that are joining us. Matthew, do you have anything you'd like to add or anything you'd like to say?
Just again, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Angel. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like Tim was saying, bring it up, come on.
Is that song on YouTube somewhere where we can pull it up and play it?
That's absolutely, yes, it is. It's
Cool.
copyrighted. That is my song. I sang it. It's my song.
All right. Well, if you want, we'll put up a link to it in the comments after the show. And just once again, I'm going to bring everybody back real quick just to say thank you to everybody. And any last words from anyone? Just take 15, 20 seconds just to say whatever real quick.
I just thank you guys for this opportunity to share our hearts with the listeners. And if anyone is interested in contacting me or talking about looking for their miracles, they can always email me as well. I don't know if you want me to give you the email now, or if you just
we'll provide that. We're going to
comments.
post this video
That's
separate,
awesome.
so they'll have all the info.
Yeah,
Right.
Absolutely. I'd love to encourage people and just share the little bit of hope that I have as well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Angel.
Yeah,
thank you all.
Just say in closing, look for miracles, reach for music, and shine on.
Yeah. That's great.
I say expect a miracle. Say it out loud. You are what you think about. And remember that you matter. Your vibration matters. And keep shining on, shining on, shining on.
I'm noticing some harmony in the room here. It's kind of crazy how that's working out. Well, thank you all again for joining us, and thank you all for watching and sticking with this second episode. We got another one tomorrow at Wednesday at the same time and Thursday at the same time. But if you'd like to join and be a part of this, we encourage you. Go to onedaymvmt.org. Thank you all so much. You guys are all beautiful, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Aloha, everybody. Thank you.